Hello, everybody. Do you remember us? Probably not, because it's been a little while since you've seen our adorable little faces on your screen, but here we are, once again, back for another episode of Dan and Frankie Go to Hollywood. My name is Dan.
And I'm Frankie, and we may even have a two-parter this time because our episodes are quite long anyway, and because it's been so long since we last recorded,
Oh, yeah.
I've watched a lot of things and had a big kind of movie life event happen. So
Oh,
yeah, but I may have to talk a bit about that.
oh my
So
goodness.
yes, but extra special as well is we have a guest this time
Is it my cat?
because no,
Oh,
uh, I managed to get you to watch High School Musical by reading an Exorcist themed review about it, which I was still surprised that you chose that one. Because
oh
the
yeah, you
person
did.
that had the dolls that their voice, their batteries went or whatever, and they started talking like they were possessed, like The Exorcist.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh God, yeah, it's been
Yeah.
a while. I'm like trying to remember. I'm just trying to
So
remember who you are, to be quite frankly.
yeah,
Like
I
Frankly.
um
Yeah.
mini spoiler alert, you didn't hate it, which I liked, but just in case, I thought I would get on a High School Musical expert so that if you didn't like it, I could still talk about it with someone who did
Please be
like it.
Vanessa Hudgens. Please be Vanessa Hudgens. Please be Vanessa Hudgens.
So we have Liam joining us.
Oh, there he is. Hello,
Hey
Oh,
Liam.
everyone.
How
Hey,
you
nice to meet you
doing?
both.
Nice to
Sorry,
meet
I'm not
you.
Vanessa Hudgens.
Well, no, but I'm not gonna lie, this is a bit of an upgrade. Anyway, thank you
That's
so
so
much
high
for joining us,
praise.
Liam.
yeah.
Thank you for having me.
That's all
So
right. It's
I've
all
known
good.
Liam online for a number of years, through Twitter. I think I don't remember how we found each other on Twitter. I guess it was just general, this person's into movies, I'll follow
Yeah.
them, and it went from there. And you had your podcast, Nerd on Nerd, which I listened to. And you got me into Zac Efron. So because I
What?
had not seen any Zac Efron films before I
Oh,
listened to your podcast and you talked about him a lot. And I was like, I'm just going to tell the story. I don't know if you still feel the same about Zac Efron now, but anyway, you talked about him. I realized I hadn't seen any movies except a documentary he was in about Richard Linklater. And so I started a project in 2019 and I watched 27 Zac Efron films in 2019.
wow.
And he is still in my top 10 most watched actors, but he's number 10. So I am fairly confident he's going to leave the top 10 this year.
Which
One
makes me
of
think he
the
just needs to be in more movies, if anything.
Yes. Well, I also have not seen the handful of his latest films. So
Oh,
if I
interesting.
catch up on them, then
Yeah.
he may stay in the top 10.
You are missing out on some good ones still, and I do still talk excessively about Zac Efron to anyone that will listen. The
Oh,
obsession,
well, that's
it
good.
hasn't faded.
I've seen 8 of his films. Uh,
Wow, and two of them
two
you
of
just watched.
yeah.
What are the other six?
The other ones I've seen: Greatest Showman, The
Mm.
Disaster Artist, Neighbors, uh, which I think had a different, wasn't it
Bad
Bad Neighbors
Neighbors.
over here?
Yeah.
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 The
Same here as
extremely
well because of
wicked,
the soap.
extremely wicked something something something
Ah,
Ted Bundy,
yes.
Dirty
Yes.
Grandpa, which I will never get that time of my life back.
I
Oh, that's one
And
thought
of my
that was
favorites.
fun.
oh, hang on, am I thinking? No, I'm pretty sure that was the movie that I
Yeah,
didn't like.
everyone seemed to hate it when it came
Oh
out,
yeah,
but
no, I didn't like that
uh,
film. But the other one that I have seen, which is arguably my favorite of his, was Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates, which I will die on the hill that is potentially the funniest comedy of this century so far.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, actually, no, hang on. Hot Rod came out in this century. It is the second funniest comedy that came out. Yeah, I love that film more than words can express. So yeah. So there you go. That's the ones I've
Hmm.
seen. But yeah, up until recently, I'd only seen six. Yeah. Who did he play in The Disaster Artist? Oh, he was Chris R.
It's yeah, it was a very small role.
Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah, I'm a huge, huge, huge fan of The Room.
I actually only watched The Room in 2019 specifically to watch The Disaster Artist afterwards.
hmm
So
Yeah.
I've met Tommy Wiseau and Greg Sestero because they did a room showing in London with a Q&A afterwards. So I went to
Oh,
that and have a picture with them.
dude, I'm friends with Greg
Nice.
Sestero.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I actually hosted a couple of Q&As when he was over here touring with Best Friends Volume 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And the first time round, like, yeah, it was really cool to meet him and everything, and we chatted for a bit and stuff. Then the second time he came around, because I was doing a movie review channel on YouTube, because I think he was about to go into production for Valley. Well, what's the horror movie that he did? Something Valley? Oh, God damn it, I've gone blank on the title. But he wanted to pick my brain about horror movies and stuff, and so we got chatting and stuff, and but he was like really, you know, friendly and everything, and then we kept in touch after that, and I actually directed him in a scene that I did through like he was in the States, but in this scene it involved him just being on a tablet. He played what was it like a agent or something, and yeah, so I actually got to direct him in a scene which was really really cool. But
That is
yeah.
very cool. I'm a little bit jealous, I'm not gonna lie.
No, he is just such a nice guy. Like I absolutely love the dude. So yeah, even though I can't remember his movie's name, but anyway,
Well, when they
what's
were in
his?
London, they showed the room and then they showed like a rough cut of volume one of Best Friends.
Yeah, right, right.
And I haven't seen volume two yet because I
Oh,
really loved volume one as it
hmm
was. I was
yeah.
like, I don't know if I need to see anything more, but I also don't
Oh,
know
you
because I
do.
haven't seen it since that rough cut,
Hmm
how much of it is kind of still there in whatever the final
Yeah,
edit was.
yep, yep,
And it's one
yep.
of those things where it's like it was such a nice experience that I'm
Mm.
nervous about going back to it to see if that changes at all.
Oh yeah, no, I would definitely recommend giving it a go. It's one of those movies that, to be honest, like I bought the Blu-ray, but I haven't actually watched the Blu-ray yet. I haven't seen it since it was on the big screen, but I remember so many scenes from it. Like it was, you know, it's not a competently made film by any means or anything like that, but yeah, but it's still stuck in my memory. Like there was a lot of things about it that I definitely enjoyed. So yeah, no, I'd highly recommend watching the two of them.
Uh,
Yeah. But anyway, we're not here to talk about Greg Sestero. We're yes.
Oh,
Um
I mean, we could talk about anything. We're chatting movies.
That is true. That is true. But
Hmm.
I feel like I hijacked your discussion with Liam and his
it's like
essence, and we were talking about
all
Zac Efron.
roads,
That's right.
Yeah.
all roads lead back to Zac Efron. That's what I've learned.
Fair enough. So yeah. So what is it about Zac Efron that you find so appealing?
I mean, where do you even start? Genuinely,
Do you remember the first film that got you started
Mm,
on
yeah. So I think it was High School Musical. It was the first one where like he because I came to High School Musical a little bit later in life than I probably should have done. I think I was like 18, 19 the first time that I watched it. Um, and that's when I first became aware. And then I decided to just watch every film I could find of his.
mm.
And I don't think there is a single property that I can think of that wouldn't be improved without adding Zac Efron to it, quite honestly.
Fair enough.
Like,
Wow, you are a
for
super fan.
example, I don't know if either of you have been watching The Studio on Apple TV.
No.
Not yet. I can't wait to get started on it.
It's really worth watching. I think it's the third episode that has Zac Efron in it, and it's just
Oh, I didn't
immediately
know
it's
he
just
was in it.
like, yes, and it's
Mm.
just as soon as he pops up, it's like, okay, I'm here. This is brilliant. Like the second episode is really good as well. Don't get me wrong, but the third one, oh, yeah, like the second one, the only thing that was missing was Zac Efron, and they fixed that with the third episode.
Fair
Is he
enough.
just in the one or does is he recurring?
So out of the four that I've seen so far, because they're still releasing them at the moment,
Oh, okay.
I've only seen him in that one. I, I'm hoping he'll come back. I'm not convinced he will.
Hmm
Mhm.
Fair enough. All
It'll
right.
be like that the High School Musical TV show
Oh,
where they, I mean, maybe we should talk more about this later, but where they got
Yeah.
Lucas Grabeel to come in for an episode.
well,
So that was
yeah,
fun.
I have grievances about the final season of that, and we can get to that later, I'm sure.
Ah,
Uh,
yeah.
TIL that there is a TV show based on it, but anyway, there you
It's
go.
so good. It's so much better than it has any right to be. Like the full title is High School Musical, the musical, the series.
Wow.
That's too long of a title,
It is.
but
It is.
it's it's fantastic. Like I went into it very sniffy, like this
Mm.
is going to be terrible. I love the movies. This is going to be awful.
Hmm.
It might be one of my all-time favorite TV shows.
Wow.
Ooh,
I only
wow.
watched the first season. That was about High School Musical.
It's worth watching the others.
Oh, there you go.
Mm.
Yeah, I'll probably give it a miss, but that's just me. No, but it's mainly because I just don't get time to
But
watch
that
TV
has
shows.
that girl in it. Did she become really famous because of the
Yeah,
show,
Olivia
or was
Rodrigo.
yeah, was she famous before the show, or did that kind of launch her?
No, so I think what happened, because she was also in an episode of New Girl before the show. So she's kind of been around, but then she started doing the music, and I think the music just massively took off. That
Mm.
was kind of separate to the show, even though the show has some of her original music in it. And like Driver's License is the big song that kind of catapulted her. And that seemed to happen, I want to say during like the second season of the show.
Okay, yeah,
And
because
then
I saw her in the show, and then suddenly she was like everywhere in the
everywhere.
music scene,
Yeah.
and yeah,
Who was it? Sorry?
Olivia, what was it?
Rodrigo.
Newton-John.
Rodrigo.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know that name.
Mm.
You young kids and your pop music. Anyway, um, cool. I probably just want to throw out an apology to everyone as to why it's been so long between episodes. But so I've been moving house, and it has been a really, really, really big task. Because we have a lot of people that live here and stuff, and so like yeah, we're still not done yet. But yeah, between that and a whole bunch of other things, like yeah, it's just one of those things. It's like, are we able to record this weekend? It's like, nope, got to lift heavy things. So yeah, we haven't been able to
Yeah.
record, but my biceps are absolutely ripped right now. Oh, what's that? You can't see them? Oh, well, that's too bad, but trust me, they are. Yeah, so
Yeah,
that was
yay for Easter
basically.
long weekend that we could not only make it work for you because you were still moving at our
Mm,
normal recording time on Sunday, but then we got Liam as well because time
exactly.
difference made it tricky, although luckily Liam's a night owl because
Mm.
it's midnight, gone midnight.
Yeah. Coming up to 1 a.m., but I'm not working tomorrow, so it's fine.
Woo, everybody wins. Yeah, no, it was just yeah, we actually had a chance to do it this weekend, so yes, so here we are. But
Yeah, so what is it like
yeah.
four weeks of movies to talk about as far as recently watched?
Yeah.
I have tons to talk about.
Yeah,
So
I've got one mini series and two movies. That is all I've had time to watch. Because yeah, aside from moving, there's also actually, hang on, they're 11 months old today. Looking after 11-month-old twins, working a full-time job. Plus, my boss had been away for 2 weeks, and I was doing her job, and like there was yeah, it's been absolutely nuts around here, but we're still kicking. We're doing our thing. But yeah. So anyway, that's the reason why it's been a little while. So yes, sorry about that. Hopefully we'll get into a routine again now.
and then we have an
Yeah.
extra long episode to make up for
We do. This one's going to go for approximately 12 hours,
it.
just FYI. 11 hours of those will be discussions on High School Musical. Uh, no, probably not. It has come to my attention, of course, that we have not planned the schedule for this episode. So, Frankie, what are we jumping into first?
Well, I think this part one is probably just going to be all taken up with talking about what we've recently watched
Hmm.
because, it's been a little while already and we haven't even started on that yet. And we have
Yeah,
Liam here, so we have three
we
of
do.
us to talk movies.
Yeah.
And then the next episode, which you don't have to wait 2 weeks for, we'll just stagger them a little bit.
Mm.
Um, we will do trivia and reel in the years and then talk about the three movies, which
There you go.
are Interview with the Vampire, High School Musical, bonus High School Musical 2, and The Wall.
Yes, 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 yes. I can't believe you made me watch two of those films. But anyway,
Hey,
um,
I just suggested that you watch the sequel because there are things like better songs and hearing Zac Efron's voice. But anyway,
yeah, but
High School Musical later.
I know what you're like when I disappoint you, and I didn't want to do that. So
I
yeah.
really didn't expect that you would watch it because I know how limited your movie time is.
And you know
And
what?
you said and it was yesterday, and so I just you only had the rest of yesterday to watch it, so I
And
was
that
surprised.
is 90% of the reason why I watched it last night was because I knew the look on your face. You'd be like, what? He actually watched it. And
I know,
you
and
know
I
me,
saw
I
that
like to
at
do that to
3 a.m.
people.
because
Mm,
I couldn't sleep and I saw the light change from a thing on my phone,
mm,
which was Kylie posting something. But then I saw the notification you'd liked my High School Musical 2 review. And so I was like,
mm.
you usually like reviews when you've watched the film. So then I had to check.
True.
So it was like 3 a.m. and I'm like replying to you going, you watched it.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. What a conversation
And
to
then
have
I
at 3 in the
sent the
morning.
Liam, I sent him that image of the necklace with the T for
Yes.
Troy. No, T for Ted Bundy.
Oh,
So
that's a great image.
And then, yeah, and then we had Fraser Jubb commenting on my review, who said, "Okay, now I'm starting to wonder if Dan has been replaced." Because yeah, I'm just full of surprises. But anyway, all right, so cool. So we're talking about what we've watched over the last
yeah.
6 months or however long it's been since we last recorded. Cool. All right. Well, you can go first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Get ready.
I'm prepared. Here we go.
I have a few random movies, and then all the rest of my movies that I'm going to talk about are related to a project, which all started because of Elric Kane. So shout out to him, who's never going to
Mm,
listen to this. But if you don't know Elric Kane, you should go listen to his two podcasts, Colors of the Dark for horror stuff and Pure Cinema for all genres. I think I was listening to the Pure Cinema Hangout episode, and he mentioned a film called The Birthday, which is a Corey Feldman film that was made in 2004 and in Spain and never got released in the US. And then Corey had Jordan Peele over at his house and showed him the movie, and Jordan Peele loved it. And when he did a film festival, he included it, and then it had a release and is on Shudder now, which is how I watched it. But Elric said, like in The Lost Boys with the Rambo thing, he's doing a voice in The Birthday, and the voice is Al Pacino from Dog Day Afternoon. And so I'm like, I haven't seen Dog Day Afternoon, so I need to watch that to see what this voice is, and then watch The Birthday to see him doing the voice, which is apparently quite annoying. And having watched it, yeah, it's the Rambo voice was cool in The Lost Boys. I liked it, but this
mm,
voice not. You kind of get used to it as the movie goes.
mm,
But yeah, it's basically it's sort of real time following his character the whole time. He's at this hotel with his girlfriend to meet her parents at this big gathering, and then horror stuff happens. Kind of boring. Um, and he's like playing this sort of nervous character with this weird voice, and it just I was waiting for things to because you read reviews and some people are like, this is the best, and then other people are like, this is boring, and some people say it kicks off near the end. So I was waiting for that last part to pick up, and it did a little bit.
mm,
But anyway, so that's on Shudder. But I watched Dog Day Afternoon first, and it's an amazing movie. Not just for Al Pacino, but also John Cazale, who steals the scene in that. And then I was like, who is this guy? He's like kind of weird looking, got this long hair and this like burgundy kind of suit. And he, I found out, only did 5 movies all five nominated for Oscars,
Really?
and two of them won. He
Oh,
was
wow.
in um he did Dog Day Afternoon, Godfather 1 and 2, The
Mm.
Conversation, and The Deer Hunter.
Oh, okay.
And then
Wow.
because he died
Yeah.
when he was like 42 or something, he had
Oh.
lung cancer.
Uh,
So The Deer Hunter was his last film. He
mm.
still filmed it after he found out he was sick, but then he died before it got released.
My brain was expecting, oh, I don't know why. I thought you were going to say he still filmed it after he died. But it's like, oh, yeah. Anyway, never mind. Sorry.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, so apparently like Al Pacino had worked with him in theater and he suggested to Sidney Lumet that he should play the other bank robber in Dog Day Afternoon. And Lumet wasn't interested because he didn't look anything like the real guy because it's based on a real story. But then he met him and he did a like read through and then got the part because he was so
Hmm.
good.
Isn't it Lou May?
No,
Isn't it?
no.
Wow. I was sitting here thinking to myself, okay, one of us has been mispronouncing it and it's possibly
There's,
me. But
I think there's a lot of sort of French sounding words like that
yeah.
people just assume how to say them. And
Yeah.
then you find, like, the drink apparently is Moet, and everyone says Moe over
Yeah.
here.
Or Moe. It's
Yeah.
really wow. But I always correct people who say Gal Gadot because it's actually
What?
Gadot.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So, oh man, names with T's on the end. That's
Mm.
they're an absolute curse. But anyway, well, that's interesting. So
Yeah.
everything you've just said, all I got from it was that it's Sidney Lumet, not Lumet. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, no, no. I was
But
interested
the
in.
other big
Oh,
takeaway besides John Cazale, who I've now seen all his movies because
There's
I
five.
wanted to. Yeah. I had already seen Deer Hunter. I was going to rewatch it just to see it with new eyes, knowing who he was. But I am in the minority of not really enjoying that film, and I actually gave away my Blu-ray, and I wasn't
oh,
going to pay to rent it because I gave it 2.5 stars
yeah,
last
right.
when I watched it. So I
Mm,
didn't rewatch that, but I'd seen it previously, so I watched the other four. But
yeah,
yeah,
right.
Dog Day Afternoon is really good. Also, Al Pacino is one of those actors that I've known my whole life, but then realized I have not really seen his films. Like I know,
Hmm.
Dan, we had that with Jack Nicholson a while
Mm,
ago, where we just
yeah.
realized how few of his films we'd actually
That
seen.
was such a surprise. I thought, oh my God, surely I've seen nearly all of his films. It's like, oh, I've seen like three.
And yeah, I didn't know Al Pacino, super hot in the 70s.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, yeah, and so what happened was I then became obsessed with Al Pacino. So
You became obsessed with someone? Really? That's not like you.
then I saw this poster, which audio people, if you Google Al Pacino London 1974, there's a series of photos from when he was at some hotel doing a thing. I
Hmm.
found this is a poster from one of them. And
Hmm.
then this is pretty cool. So I have, of course, eBay purchases for the
Ooh,
movies that can't find anywhere else. So
no.
Frankie and Johnny, which I'll talk about in a minute, and
Mm.
Author, which I haven't seen yet.
Hmm.
I have the book he
Oh
just
God.
wrote, which I haven't read because I need to watch more movies before I
Hmm.
read it. But I read the captions with the photos on the photo pages, and he seems like he's pretty funny.
You're
And I
gonna
li
you're gonna drag a cage from the side with Al Pacino in it, aren't you? You it's gonna happen, isn't it?
To be fair, the current age he is probably the best age to try to capture him.
That is
yeah.
true. That is true. Oh, I'm nervous, but anyway, keep
And
going.
I found this on JB, which is a triple pack. And JB were doing their buy two, get one free, and this was included. So I had to go buy it. This
Of
last
course you
one,
did.
Manglehorn's not available any other way.
Mm.
But it came with a slip cover, and I'm like, why does the triple pack have a slip cover? Because it's just,
Mm.
three images of the movies.
Yeah.
And then I didn't notice straight away, when I was pulling out and looking at it and everything. But when I pulled it out to watch one of the movies, I was like, oh, it's not white on the inside. What's going on? So I
Mm.
looked. It has like
Oh my
like
goodness.
little
Wow.
photos.
It does.
And they're stuck down, so I have to carefully do them, but they're like a separate thing.
Oh,
So
okay.
I can like remove them and I have these little Pacino portraits.
Yes, you do. I'm sorry. This is you are at peak Frankie right now. Like seriously, this is so
This
freaking
this
you.
is like this is extra level. This is like
Yeah.
maybe he's my like movie obsession soulmate or something.
Oh,
So then
wow.
I watched The Godfather,
Hmm.
which I've never seen. So
Mm.
this is one of those movies I was scared to watch because everyone loves it so much,
Hmm.
except for Nobbins.
Yeah.
But I thought it was really good, and yeah, I really loved it. And I watched part two, which I
Hmm.
also really loved as well.
Hmm.
And it's 3 hours, but it doesn't feel like 3 hours.
And did you think it
It's really
was better
interesting.
than the first one, like everybody else does?
No,
Ooh.
I think, I mean, it might change because I did like both of them a lot, but at the
Hmm.
moment, I like the first one better.
Right. Wow.
And I do like Marlon Brando, so
Mm.
that's an extra thing that the
Hmm.
first film has. Have you seen the Godfather films?
I, for some reason, I bought the Blu-ray box set that's got like the three films plus a feature length making of extravaganza. And many, many years ago, I sat down and watched the first one, and I think I liked it, but I can't remember. And then I put the second one on, but I was very distracted at the time, and I was sort of doing something else, and so I just wasn't giving it enough attention. So I'm gonna, yeah, I don't even really remember the first one, so I'm gonna say I haven't seen them.
Mm.
To be fair, because yeah, I would have to actually, really sit down and watch them properly and stuff. So yeah, that's where I'm at with the Godfather
Uh,
films, and I've not seen the third one at all.
I haven't watched the third one yet, but I bought the 4K set that has three versions of the third film. So,
Oh wow.
have you seen them, Liam?
Yeah, so it's been a while because I started using Letterboxd on the 1st of January 2013. So if I haven't logged it, I know that I watched it kind of before then. So we're talking over 12 years ago now. Um, I struggle with gangster films in general, to be honest,
Mhm.
because there is that thing, right, where you cannot show the gangsters winning. I find it always a little bit predictable. Like it
Mm.
follows that. It's the same with the Western, right? They tend to follow the same kind of trajectory. And with gangster films, it's that rise and then the inevitable fall. And yes, both the first two Godfather films are technically good. Like
Mhm.
I can't deny that they are put together really well. I just find them a little bit like they don't grab my imagination and kind of
Mm.
get me fired up. And then the
Mm.
third one, I don't know which cut of it I saw. Probably theatrical, I would imagine. It has the reputation it has for a good reason. Yeah, it's
That's
not
why I
great.
haven't rushed to that one. Well, I thought because I once I watched the first two, I was like, okay, I'm gonna splurge and get the 4K box set. And then I thought, well, I might as well just wait to get that to watch the third one, so it's best quality. I didn't realize at the time I ordered it there was three cuts, so now I have to figure out
Mm.
which one because
Apparently, one of the cuts is good.
I think there was the theatrical and then I can't remember what the other one, and then there's the it has the subtitle now, the is it the death of Michael Corleone or something? It has some
Ah,
kind of
spoil
like
the spoiler cut.
subtitle. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I guess I'll have to watch them all
Hmm.
eventually. But
I really want to rewatch the first two and like actually really pay attention, you know. But I'm kind of the same as you, Liam. Like, yeah, mafia movies and stuff don't. generally really interest me
Well, they
that
don't
much.
generally interest me either, which is
Hmm.
why I have taken till now to watch the Godfather films because I just didn't think I would be into them.
Hmm.
Um,
Like
but
Goodfellas,
yeah,
I think is fine. You know, it's an
I still haven't
entertaining
seen
enough
that.
film, but I don't sort of, put it on the pedestal that so many people
Yeah.
do. And
Same with
yeah,
Scarface.
that's a different story. That is a different story. That
Oh,
movie is
interesting.
phenomenal.
Oh.
Yeah, but that one, I don't really look at that as a mafia film. I don't know. It's more about like one man and his, rise and fall kind of thing. Like,
I find it
yeah.
interesting that that one was like critics hated it when it came out, and
Wow.
now it's become like one of the biggest films. I'm actually really
Yeah.
interested in that because I watched Carlito's Way, which um, was also Brian De Palma and later
Mm,
in the 90s, and a lot of people sort of not like compare them, but it's a similar kind of genre. But I've heard some people say that it could be the character from Scarface if he had gone to prison, because Carlito's Way is a guy who gets out of prison after, I think, not that many years, but his
mm,
lawyer, his dodgy lawyer, who's Sean Penn, being the most like awful, like the kind of guy you just look at and just, he's just like, so
Apologies
his
to Sean
lawyer
Penn
gets
if
him
he's
out.
listening to this.
Oh no, you seriously, I don't, everyone says the same. It's
Yeah.
like that kind of character, which
Yeah,
is
yeah.
interesting to watch because you just dislike him instantly because of how he acts and everything. But
Mm,
yeah, and then that movie follows him trying to like be good now and not get involved in stuff and go to this girl that he had a romance with to try and,
mm.
just move away, get a new life with her and be out of stuff. But of course,
Mhm.
it doesn't go to plan.
Yeah. I actually got thinking about Scarface. I think it was last night actually. I went to look up what else of Vanessa Hudgens I had seen. And of the very few films I'd seen, one of them was Spring Breakers, which I absolutely love. Have you seen that one, Liam?
Yes, yes, I have.
Yeah, I did. That to me is, I love when a film can capture the feeling of being in a dream or a nightmare. And that film
Yeah.
was just so surreal, the way it was filmed and edited and everything. But of course, James Franco's character in that was, so memorable. But I couldn't remember, but apparently there was, in that whole monologue of, look at my shit. Apparently, he references Scarface in there, and yeah, it sort of got me thinking. Oh man, I really want to rewatch Scarface again. So there you go. There's a link to High School Musical.
There we go. See, all roads lead back to Zach. That's what I'm saying.
Yes,
But
yes.
but
Oh my God.
what's the song that's in Spring Breakers? Because I love it when movies use like really kind of like unusual or unexpected songs just appear in
I
movies.
can't
It's
remember.
like, is
It's
it Britney Spears or someone? But there's like a whole
uh
sequence set to
oh
a very poppy song.
um yeah, it was something. It's been years since I've seen it. I bought it on Blu-ray. I can't actually. I first came across that film because Chris Stuckman, the movie reviewer, there was one time he did this whole thing on Spring and like he kept referencing James Franco's "Look at My Shit" monologue, and I was like, "Well, what is he?" Because years ago, I was a huge Chris Stuckman fan, and I was like, "What is this movie?" And so I checked it out, and I'm like, "Oh man, I just loved it so freaking much." But yeah, I can't remember because it's been many years since I've seen it. Detective Frankie might be on the case here. She's she's looking at something. That is her I'm researching
Ali
face.
Goulding is the
What?
only Ali Goulding is the only name I'm seeing. Everything else is Skrillex.
Oh, okay.
And
Hmm. But
yeah.
I actually almost rewatched Spring Breakers last night after High School Musical 2, but then it was like kind of late and I figured the kids were going
I
to
still
be
haven't seen
up
that.
soon.
It's one that I sort of saw the title and assumed it was a certain type of movie, and then I
Hmm.
found out that
It's
a
not.
different kind of movie. So
I
it's
was
on
the
my
same.
list, but I haven't got to it yet.
I was the same. Like when I first, yeah, like the cover and everything makes it look like it's, kind of a fun comedy, maybe sort of a thing. But then it's like it's the furthest thing from it. It is this really dark kind of heist film sort of thing. And like I said, that just the way the film is put together, it's worth watching just for that. Because
So I've done a quick Google. I think the bit I'm thinking of is the song "Every Time" by Britney Spears.
oh,
There is
okay.
a sequence set to that that is very, like you're saying, very dreamlike in
Mm,
Oh,
how it's put
okay.
together.
Yes. My
right,
mistake. I
right.
was looking at the soundtrack, not just the songs used.
As opposed to the song Every Day, which was in High School Musical 2.
Mm.
See, there you go. Old roads, Zac Efron. Yeah. Oh God, I remember the songs from the films. Shit.
That's
Anyway,
how good they are.
oh yeah, but in my defense, I only saw it last night, so there's that. But oh, please get out of my head. But anyway, yeah, cool.
All right.
So
So,
anyway, back to Al.
Well, so
yeah.
Frankie,
Oh.
because you said that you're not like typically a fan of gangster films. So what is it about the two Godfather films that
Mm,
worked for you?
great
Okay.
question.
So, obviously, one thing is that Al Pacino is hot. And
Okay, yeah.
I don't know. It's just interesting. I don't know if it's like part of the time period, with the suits and the hair, and, I like the style. Just, I don't know. I just find it's really like a lot of it is people talking, but I don't know.
Mm.
It's just, I can't
So
put
I'm
my
hearing
finger
it's
on
Al Pacino
why.
is hot, and that's
Yeah,
the
Yeah.
reason.
that's pretty much
Okay.
it, really. Like, yeah.
I mean, it adds to it. It's, some movies you think if it was a different person in that role, would it be quite as good? I think it would still be
Yeah,
good, but it just
totally understand.
adds.
I will happily watch a movie for like Sydney Sweeney for that reason alone and be like,
Oh
yeah, that
God.
was worth my time.
Um, yeah, I can see Dan is trying really hard not to comment on that. Dan has issues with Sydney Sweeney that um is
You
just
set
one
me
of
up, didn't you,
those
Frankie? This is
things.
this has all been a big setup, hasn't it? You sprung it on me now, and
So did you enjoy Anyone But You? Because I thought that was a super fun movie that everyone seems to hate. I
Yeah,
don't know
I
if
thought
it's
it was
just because
fun.
it's like a rom-com that
Yeah,
because I just think
it's a fully fun rom-com that
hmm,
doesn't really make a lot of sense, to be honest. But you've got Glenn Powell looking hot, you've got Sydney Sweeney looking hot. What more do you need from a rom-com at the end of the day?
hmm. I think a lot of the sort of people are stepping into critical things with their movies where they feel like if a movie's just fluffy fun, they can't like it and they have to find fault with it because it's not, you know, all the themes and all that kind of stuff. And it's like you can just enjoy a movie because it's fun.
Well, have either of you seen was it Immaculate that Sydney
Yes.
Sweeney was in? Okay, I feel
I
like I'm
I'm
poking a hornet's nest here, and there's context I'm missing potentially.
um,
there's not a lot of context. It's just Dan has
have
an
you not been
issue.
listening to our
He,
podcasts, Liam?
Dan has issues with Sydney Sweeney's face. Is
Well, and acting, lack
well,
of acting
but
ability,
I
and
think that your
everything.
issues with her face are affecting
Oh
your
God,
judgment on her acting.
yeah. Anyway, look, you know what? I'm gonna be nice here. My mum always said if you've got nothing nice to say about someone, don't say anything at all. So you guys, please, praise the sween, do what you need to do, get it out of your systems. I'll wait here. I'll be in the car. No. Yes, Liam, I don't like Sydney Sweeney. That's all I'm gonna say. For people
Okay,
who
but
have
what
listened to our
started
podcast.
that?
Oh God, Frankie, for the record, I was going to leave it at that, but now the hornet's nest has
I
been
want to hear
poked.
this. Yeah.
Um, she just has a face that I want to punch. She has a face that reminds me of kind of the personification of cancer itself. I have changed my kids' nappies on occasion, and what was in there I actually found more appealing than her face. But not only that, like the few movies that I've seen of hers, which were Madam Web and Immaculate, and I don't know what else because I'm trying to forget all about her. I thought she was terrible in. I just, oh my God, I hate her so much. I hate that she just kind of uses her tits to get by. Like, I mean, you look at like her Instagram pics now and everything, they're just kind of soft porn pics, and it's like, wow, yeah, so much integrity there. Um, I'm gonna shut up now. That's the nutshell version of it. But yeah, I'm not a fan. Not a fan at
Okay,
all.
so I'm trying to figure out what else of hers I've seen that I am a fan of.
Yeah.
Because I haven't seen Madam Web.
Oh God. Yeah.
I
It's
Okay,
not
watched
good.
The White Lotus was the first thing I saw her in.
Hmm.
have either of you seen Under the Silver Lake?
Nope.
Oh, yes, but
I didn't realize
I
she was in
saw it.
that.
Yeah, I didn't realize she was in it. I saw that when it came out. I don't really remember it now. So I
Hang
can't
on.
picture who she
Weird.
was.
Who was she in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
Was
Ugh.
she not one of
Oh.
the like the
Like
girls that was with the little commune
Manson family?
place?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Look, okay. Do you have access to Letterboxd right now?
Hmm.
Look at her profile pic on Letterboxd and oh my God, I just kind of threw up in my mouth a little bit. Um,
Wow.
yeah, no, look at that. Like she's got kind of one lazy eye. She just looks miserable. She just, I want to punch my screen.
I mean, I will
Um,
say she doesn't look happy in that picture,
but
but
look at those eyes. Like seriously, how do people find that attractive? I don't know. Um, anyway, yeah. So, but look, I've only really seen two of her films because I don't
I'm
remember her
actually
in
gonna change
lots of.
that to a profile picture where she's smiling.
Oh, you can do that?
Yeah.
I don't think I can because I don't have like the super duper version of
Uh,
Letterboxd. But anyway, no, I just looked at that pic and I'm just like, yeah, that sums it up. Like seriously. Mm. Anyway, and
but
I
okay,
was going to
okay,
leave it at I don't like Sydney Sweeney. That's
yeah,
all I was.
instead you just did some body
but
shaming.
I
Mm.
do like how involved she was with Immaculate. She seemed to be like a big driving force in getting that movie made, which
Yeah,
I
it
think
was
is
her.
interesting.
Yeah, because she agreed to do it and they couldn't get finance or something, and then she became a
Yeah.
huge star and was able to make it work, which is pretty cool. It's unfortunate it came out at the same time as The First Omen
Mm.
because they are so
Yeah.
similar. And I rewatched The First Omen at the end of last year when I was finalizing my top movies, and I was waiting for something to happen, and then I was like, oh wait, that was in Immaculate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, yes, that's my thing with Sydney
Wow,
Sweeney. So
and
yeah.
hopefully we haven't lost a whole lot of people with that.
I I was gonna be
You are
nice.
just like incredibly harsh
I was gonna
about
be
her.
You can blame your friend Liam, because I was just gonna leave it at that, but then he's like, no, please tell us in depth
Yeah.
your
What were you
thoughts on
saying
Sydney
about
Sweeney.
what your mother said?
Uh,
And you just instead of just going, well, I'm going to be diplomatic and give Liam an answer, you went just full.
yeah, but she also told me if anyone ever asks you about someone, make sure you give as many details as possible. So I was conflicted on motherly advice there.
Mm. Sounds like a wise
Um,
woman.
yeah, oh, incredible. She's an absolute sage. Yeah. How did we go from Al Pacino to Sydney Sweeney? What happened?
People that we think are hot. So okay, so
Oh,
Frankie's got Al Pacino as hot. I've got Sydney Sweeney. Who would you watch just because they're hot?
how long have you got, Liam?
Well, it's only
Um,
1:24 a.m.
well, I guess my go-to is Margot Robbie, and that was brought on to
Can't argue
me.
with that.
But that was kind of brought on to me ironically, because back when I used to be on Twitter a lot, I how did it even happen? I don't know. I just sort of started jokingly throwing around like, that Margot Robbie was the fucking hottest thing on the planet or whatever. And then everyone just kind of started associating me. with that and stuff, and I kind of played into the joke, and then it got to the point where I actually spent money on three life-size Margot Robbie cutouts to display in my house and stuff, and I kind of
And
got.
then Harley Quinn.
Well, yeah, and then of course I'm absolutely obsessed with the character Harley Quinn, and so of course she played, and so one thing led to another, and then yeah, so I sort of seem to have been lumped into this Margot Robbie thing, but um a more recent one though is this young lass here from
Oh, yes. Yeah, yeah,
Terrifier
yeah.
2. Yeah, whose whose name I've gone blank on. I know the character is Sienna Shaw. Lauren
Laura?
Lavera.
Yeah.
Laura? Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Yeah, Laura Laverne or something, wasn't it? Lauren?
Lauren Lavera, yeah.
Lauren.
That's it.
Yeah. Oh wow. She yep. Yeah, but there's a list a mile long of women that I actually do like, whose face I don't want to beat with a baseball bat.
That's good.
Yeah, Dan has a
Yeah.
thing with faces. He
I do.
likes
Yeah.
to comment on
What's the first thing you see?
my because I my taste runs to guys that are not conventionally attractive, as he likes to point out.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, Kyle
Okay.
Gallner is a great actor and everything, and every but yeah, it's he's anyways.
So, so Dan, were you one of the few fans of Suicide Squad?
I found enough good things. Like I get the criticism, I totally do. It's one of those films that I'm not going to be like if someone says, "Oh, it's the worst film I've ever seen." I'm not going to be like, how dare you? It's like, yeah, okay, I see where you're coming from. But I thought there was enough good in it. Yeah, I did. And I mean, yeah, Margot's portrayal of Harley Quinn was just phenomenal. I mean, I do have that little bit of bias going into it, of course, but yeah, I'm also obsessed with DC Comics. Like,
Yeah.
that's my jam. So yeah, there was a lot of things I did like about that film. I don't like uber love it, but yeah, I thought it was
Yeah,
entertaining
I,
enough.
I I really enjoyed it. Like
Hmm.
I had a lot of arguments at the time around the whole like what Zack Snyder was doing with the DC movies, and I was
Hmm.
one of the few people that I enjoyed Batman versus Superman enough to see it
Hmm.
at the cinema three
Yeah.
times.
Yeah, right.
So I liked at the time. I remember Marvel just it felt to me like they were playing it very safe constantly. Like
Hmm.
you knew what you were getting.
Hmm.
With DC, I never knew what I was going to get when I went into one of those movies, and I liked
Yeah.
that. And
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you said, like Margot Robbie, Harley Quinn, like even Birds of Prey, that didn't
Mm.
seem to get a lot of like critical attention. I thought that was
Oh,
Loved
really
Birds of
good.
Prey.
I saw that
Yeah,
movie. I think I saw it 12 times at the cinema.
impressive.
That's actually
It's
one
worth
of
it.
the things. When I first met Dan, he got me to watch these movies because I didn't know who Harley Quinn was.
Yeah.
And so I watched them all through. And yeah, Birds of Prey was my favorite of the
Mm.
between that and the
So
two Suicide Squads.
so
Mm.
Frankie, you've got like I was trying to think of the right way of saying it. It's like a thing for Poison Ivy, right?
Yeah, she's my favorite
Who
character.
yeah, who would you cast as her?
Uh, Jane Levy.
Exactly. There's only one answer.
Fantastic choice.
Yep.
We've
Can't
talked
argue
about
with that.
this.
Oh,
Yeah.
we've had this conversation so many times.
I actually
And
have art. Dan has an artist friend, and I actually commissioned her to do artwork of Poison Ivy looking like Jane Levy, like I gave her reference photos,
Yeah.
and with Scarecrow as played by Cillian Murphy.
mm. So it was
Nice.
So,
like
That's very cool.
Scarecrow sitting on a chair with Ivy standing behind him, kind of thing. Like, yeah, it was
mm,
an amazing picture. But I've also I recently got into AI image generation. Like, I've been just having so much fun with that. I actually made Frankie some pictures of Al Pacino,
you
Michael
know,
Corleone.
you know what I thought of?
What's that?
If you were talking about doing images for episodes,
Yeah, yeah,
Al Pacino, if he was in a High School Musical.
I can do it. I mean,
I'd
it's
be interested to see what comes out
Hang
of
on.
that.
Which character?
all of
Well,
them.
well, no, I was just thinking of he joins the cast.
I
Oh, so
can.
like he's not replacing anyone, he's just there
No,
Mm,
as well.
yeah.
I can do that.
Interesting.
But I did some face swapping, like I generated some Poison Ivy pictures or whatever, and face swap with Jane Levy on there, and yeah, she just looks so perfect for that role. So yeah, that's both of our go-to choice for that character. Yeah. But no, I did some AI pics for Frankie of young Michael Corleone, or Corleone, I don't know. With the
I
suit
think
and
it's
everything.
both, depending if you're Italian or American.
Right, right. I'm neither of those things, so I don't know what I would call it. Call Leo, yeah. And she wanted to pick. We wound up doing pics of him on a carousel, like a carousel horse with like a dark sort of snowy background and stuff. And then I did one pic where I threw the Flash in the background, sitting on another horse for her, just as a surprise. And
That's
it was the
very
most.
specific.
It was the most bizarre pick. He got like Michael sitting there in his suit and everything, and black leather gloves and stuff, and then
Yeah,
behind him is
looking very
Barry Allen.
unimpressed.
Like behind him on
That's
a horse
amazing.
is Barry Allen, just like looking off somewhere. It was so funny. But yeah. Anyway. Um. Yeah. So. Yeah. But no, if
So The
you.
Godfather 1 and 2 were good.
Oh yeah. So
Oh yeah.
the other like really good one I watched, which I can't believe I had never seen because it was so big when it came out, was The Devil's Advocate,
Mm,
which
Mm,
is crazy and fun. Like it's crazy that it's a big movie with A-list actors because it's like such a weird movie. And
mm,
Al Pacino's very over the top
mm.
performance as the devil, but it's super fun because of
Hoo-ha.
that. And
Yeah.
so I thought that was really good. That needs
Hmm.
more love. That needs the fancy like 4K treatment because yeah, it's
Hmm.
fun. And Charlize Theron's in it and like she's so young in it. Like I don't think I've seen anything in her from that far back.
Right, right.
See, I feel like my view of Al Pacino is slightly skewed because I haven't seen a lot of his like early work, like Dog Day Afternoon. I've never seen, but I started watching the films that they covered on the How Did This Get Made podcast,
Hmm.
which tend to be those, say bad, they're good movies, which
Right.
is The Devil's Advocate was on that. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think there was like three or four. They did like a little run of Al Pacino
Mm.
movies that aren't critically well received, but
Yeah.
tend to be like so just batshit that they are entertaining.
Yeah.
Right,
Devil's
right.
Advocate, very fun. I would
Mm.
happily watch that a lot more
Mm.
times.
Yeah.
Something I wouldn't watch a lot more times, but okay. Everyone hates this movie except for one passionate person on a Screen Drafts episode I was listening to where they were doing the top um, Worst Picture Razzie winners.
Mm.
And he gave a passionate plea for this film, and I was like, oh, okay. Is it as bad as everybody says? And then I had a streaming service I cancelled, and it was only on that streaming service. So I had to watch it because I've been focusing on early Al Pacino. So I watched Jack and Jill, the
Ooh.
Adam Sandler film
Wow.
from more recent times. And it's like if it wasn't Al Pacino, because Al Pacino is playing a version of himself in the film, and if they had just like made a character and been like, this character is a famous movie star and gone with that, like it, it would have been a bad movie. But because it's Al Pacino and he's just so funny, it was really
Mm.
hard for me to rate this film because he's so fun to watch. The rest of the movie is bad.
Right, right.
So I can't regret watching it because Al Pacino is so funny. And I did wonder, like, I was like, why did he agree to do a film like this? But then
Mm.
I read he had a dodgy accountant who went to prison for embezzlement and he was
Oh,
completely broke.
wow.
So that's why,
So it was literally a paycheck film.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Hmm.
it's just so funny. So I rated that high. I think I gave it 1.5 stars because I'm like, well, I have to give a star for Al Pacino because he's so funny.
Mm.
And most people give it half a star. So
Yeah, yeah, right. I guess I can kind of relate to that though. Like I watched that movie The Big Short years ago, and yeah, I did not understand a single thing anyone was saying because it was all sort of economics and finance jargon and stuff. And I'm just like, what is going on? But then every now and then it cuts to a scene of Margot Robbie in a bubble bath with a champagne glass, kind of explaining things to the camera. And then it goes back to the film. Like, that's all she's in there for. And I was like, yeah, okay. So, it didn't make the experience entirely terrible because, there was that. So I guess that's a similar kind of a thing in a way. No?
But yeah, so yeah, it wasn't as bad as I thought because I'm not overly a fan of Adam Sandler comedies.
Hmm.
So I was worried because everyone said his character's annoying.
Hmm.
And yeah, wasn't as
Hmm.
bad as I expected. And you had all
Okay.
these Al Pacino scenes and a
I've
fun
not seen it
joke.
because I just can't bring myself to do it. Have you seen it, Liam?
No, no,
Good.
I've missed that one.
Okay.
Um, have
I'll
you got
forgive
around
you
to
for the Sydney
88 minutes
Sweeney
yet,
thing.
Frankie?
Hmm? What
Have you
was
got
that?
around to 88 minutes yet?
No, I haven't.
Okay, I'll be
I
curious your thoughts on that one when you get there.
Is that another so bad it's good kind of?
Yeah,
Yeah.
very much
Okay.
so. Yes.
Whereas I'm just like, oh my God, I can't wait for her to get to Scarface and Glengarry Glen Ross and, all the good films and stuff. And you're just like, yeah,
The terrible
watch the
ones.
shit ones. Yeah.
Apparently he's in Giggly, which I forgot about.
Gigli.
Yeah.
It's
Julie,
pronounced
sorry. Oh,
Gigli. Oh,
this whole
giggly.
episode is just
My
about
goodness.
pronunciations, right? Can I blame being British on that?
It is Liam Underwood. Anyway. Yeah, he was in that, wasn't he? Oh my God.
Yeah, that's another
Wow.
one I have to watch that everyone hates.
Yeah, but
I quite
that's
liked it,
Oh, really? Okay.
but but I have a soft spot for Ben Affleck, so that kind of
ah. Hmm.
helped.
Yep. Cool.
Yeah.
I look
See,
I
I
would
also am a fan of the Afflecks.
oh yeah,
Mm.
yeah. Yeah, like Ben Affleck and Casey Astronaut. Yeah, I that movie to me was so bad it was amazing though. Like I would watch that
Yeah.
again and again because
Okay.
yeah, yeah, it's up there for me with like those kind of films. But
Yeah,
yeah.
there is one character in it that the actor makes such a bold choice with what he does there. If I describe it to you, you wouldn't believe it until you saw it.
Was
It
that
is,
the how do you say it politically correctly? The
yeah, I've been
the
trying to avoid that.
mentally
Yeah,
challenged
yeah,
person?
yeah.
Like,
That's
yeah.
exactly the one I'm
Yeah,
talking
yeah, I
about.
know
Yeah,
exactly who you're talking
yeah. Just
about.
the choice that actor made to portray in that
Yeah.
way. Oh, yeah.
Hmm.
You
I
have to see it to believe it.
the thing that sticks with me, of course, is Jennifer Lopez, talking about what is it? It's turkey time, gobble, gobble, gobble.
Of
Um,
course.
oh my God, that's just yeah, Frankie, I'm gonna let you like your brain go with what that could possibly mean, but it's yeah.
I
Anyway.
mean, the other one for actors making bold choices. Have either of you seen Tiptoes?
Mm-mm.
No.
Uh, Gary Oldman plays a little person. That's all I'm gonna say.
Seriously. Oh
In a
wow.
cast of pretty much exclusive other little people.
Oh,
Gary, if you can find the trailer online, it's worth
Yeah.
watching. The
Okay.
trailer just tells you everything you need to know, basically.
Yeah, right, right.
Um, it's just one of those movies where
the
it's a bold choice.
synopsis of the movie tagline, it's the little things in life that matter. A man is reluctant to tell his fiancée that his parents, uncle, and brother are dwarfs.
Hmm.
Also has Kate Beckinsale, Patricia
Oh,
Arquette, Matthew McConaughey.
you had me at Kate Beckinsale. That's another one on my list.
Yeah, can't
Yeah.
argue with that.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Back to Frankie's Pacino journey.
Yes. Okay. So the other really fun one I had, which is one of my eBay pickups, was Frankie and Johnny from 1990, I think it
Well,
was,
of
about
course you'd
that.
like that film,
Yeah, well, see, the thing is, back in the day of Borders, that's how long ago it was. So it was that
Hmm.
like around 2000 or something.
Which
I
is a
used to,
bookshop we should
well, yeah.
emphasize. Yeah.
Um, sorry, my cat's being
Hello,
annoying.
Cooper. Yeah.
I used to see it when I was walking around the store and obviously stood out because of the name, but I
Mm,
never did anything about it. I was just like, oh, I should see that, but I never did.
mm,
So because I picked this up because it's a rom-com with Al Pacino and Michelle Pfeiffer.
hmm.
But it's
Reunited. She was in
yes,
Scarface as well. Yeah.
not the typical kind of rom-com. Like I was surprised when it started because I was expecting, like rom-coms now where they're quite glossy and everything's kind of perfect. This felt more
Mm,
realistic. And so he is a guy who's just got out of prison and gets a job as a cook in a diner restaurant thing. And Michelle Pfeiffer is a waitress there. And it's really funny because he's a really dodgy character because he is into Michelle Pfeiffer. He's like, hey, we're Frankie and Johnny, like the song. And he wants to ask her out. She says, no, leave me alone. And he just keeps on at her. So it's
oh.
very kind of like
Mm.
red flag guy, but it's Al Pacino and he's got that charm. So he
Mm,
has, for me anyway, he had
mm.
enough charm that he didn't quite cross the line into me disliking him. Though
Right, right.
you definitely wouldn't want to meet someone like that in real life that's just determined to go out with you. I mean, he was nice about it, but he just kept like there was no like dodgy vibes, but he just wouldn't take no from her. But
Right.
in the end, she liked him anyway. So
Yeah.
of course, because
There
it's
you
a
go.
rom-com movie. But yeah,
Exactly.
it was really interesting. There's a really funny kiss scene that it's just like, supposed to be this big romantic moment, but then it's like a very energetic kiss, perhaps you could
Okay.
say. Like it just was a normal kiss and then it just went into overdrive. And
Mm.
I had to laugh when I saw it. I just couldn't believe that was it. But yeah, so
Right.
that was a fun film.
Hmm. Cool.
So yeah, and then the other one I watched was Manglehorn, which was a more recent one from 2014-ish. So we've got Old Man Pacino now, and it was in the triple feature. It was one that wasn't anywhere, and when I looked up what it was, it's like about this old guy that's sort of it just goes through life's routines, not really talking to anyone, and he has a cat. And so
Ah.
I was like, oh, Al Pacino with a cat, gotta
Mm.
watch that. So I
Exactly.
did. And it was nice. It was nothing amazing, but it
Ah.
was enjoyable.
Now I want to AI you a picture of Al Pacino sitting on an armchair just surrounded by cats. There's
Oh,
your
your
next
mind went
poster
somewhere
design.
different. I thought of Al Pacino as a cat.
Ooh,
I
you're onto
won. Oh
something.
well, that could.
Al Pacino in the movie Cats?
No, no,
I was just gonna say
no.
AI could go to a nightmare place with that kind of prompt, and then you said that, and I'm like, oh, that just sounds like a nightmare
Yeah.
material.
That is one that's the only movie I can think of in existence that actually gave me a headache while I was watching it.
I haven't seen it. I don't feel the need
Oh,
to.
it's probably not even in my like bottom 10 movies of all time.
oh no, I've seen worse movies, I guess, but yeah. Anyway, stop making me talk about things I don't like. Like,
Okay, well, I'm done with my Al Pacino. So,
yay. All right, stay tuned
um,
for the next episode. No, I'm just kidding.
well, yeah, there's going to be more. Like, my dad is visiting at the moment to
Hmm.
help me with house renovation stuff. So, um, basically, you're saved from more Al Pacino by I've just been on a break while he's here. So,
And do you get him like if he's in the next room doing something to you, you're like, Dad, every now and then can you just go hoo-ha? Like just to sort of, live the dream a little bit, like you've got Al around helping you out with your house. You do that? You do, don't you? Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
no,
You
I
do.
just look at the poster because it's one of those posters that he's looking right in the camera. So it's like he's looking at
Mm.
me.
Ah, yeah, yeah.
Do the
Like
eyes
nice
follow you
corduroy
wherever you
pants.
are?
Oh, this is getting creepy. Liam, you can join in on this. What have you been watching well, I don't
So
know, recently, just
yeah, I'll be honest, my movie
over your whole
watching's taken
life?
like a huge hit lately. Like I used to try and watch a movie a day back in the good days.
Oh,
Um, but now it's like one a week. if that, to be honest. It's mostly like cinema trips. But
Yeah, I remember
on
the cinema.
Friday, I did get to see what has been my favorite movie of the year so far,
Oh,
which was Sinners.
Ah,
everyone's talking about that. Yeah.
yeah, I really want to see it, and everyone's saying good things, which makes me want to see it
Mm.
even more. But
Mm.
yeah,
Yes.
can't this
I
weekend.
I will join the chorus of good things being said about it. I won't give any spoilers or anything. It was
Mm.
just one of those movies, right, where I was watching it and I was enjoying it. And
Hmm.
I was like, this is all good. And then
Hmm.
there's a scene that happens right at the end that just like solidified it for me. It's like, oh, that one scene alone has just taken this from good to great.
Hmm.
Like, just love
Wow.
what they did. I forgot, to be honest, it's a bit of a slow build up. It's still entertaining, it's a bit slow, and I forgot that it was a vampire film for probably about half an hour
Oh,
until things happen.
right.
And I was like, oh yeah, that's good. Haley Steinfeld, she's on my list, quite honestly.
Mm.
Tick.
She's fantastic in it. The only kind of criticism that I would have is it's one of those movies where you've got one actor playing two roles. So you've got Michael B. Jordan playing two identical twin brothers.
Mm.
I don't know why. Like I'm sure you could study it and there's a duality going on, the idea of like vampire in person and
I was going
there's
to say, you do know
there's
how
a
identical
race
twins
thing.
work, right? They
Yeah, but
look the
but
same.
but
Yeah.
but you
Okay.
don't need those characters to be identical twins,
Right.
is
Right.
my
Okay.
point. And I was watching it like there is a lot of effort gone into this from a technical standpoint of having one actor play these two roles. They could have just been two brothers with two actors.
Hmm.
And that's not to say that Michael B. Jordan isn't great,
Mm.
and he does embody the two characters very differently. So you never struggle with kind of figuring out who each character is that he's portraying at any one time. It just felt like a lot of unnecessary technical overhead for a reason that probably exists at a deeper level that I'm looking at. I just didn't really know if it was entirely
Mm.
necessary.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
and it's a minor criticism. Everything else,
Mm.
super enjoyable. Like
Yeah. Right.
the music is really good. I
Mm.
can't say like
Yeah.
I'm a big kind of, I don't have a lot of knowledge about that kind of like blues American, that era music.
Mm.
But it works really well. And there is one sequence in particular that I think a few people are talking about.
Mm.
Um,
I've seen some posts about. I'm still thinking about that scene.
you'll
Yeah.
know it as soon as you see it. It really stands out, and it is kind of like, oh, that's nice. It's the way that's been
Hmm.
pulled off, really nicely done.
You said
Yeah.
pulled off. Yeah, I'm looking at the letterbox score and like, yeah, this was one of those
Mm.
movies that like most people have given it a perfect five. So, yeah, I remember seeing the trailer ages
Yeah, I
ago.
looked it up. I think the first teaser thing came out 6 months ago because I was
Right,
like, I
right.
remember seeing this ages ago, and then I forgot about it, and then they
Mm,
didn't really market it too much until quite recently.
yeah, yeah. No, I'm very curious about this film now, but yeah, I will have to wait till it hits streaming. So, which is fine, it's all good. Yeah. So, well, I I have not watched much, because yeah, there's a lot going on. I don't have time to watch things. Thank you very much. But one thing that I did watch, which is not technically a movie, but it needs to be talked about. And I had to write a review of it for work, but I wanted to see it anyway. But yeah, I watched Adolescence, the three-part series. It was three, wasn't it?
Or
Four. Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, the British show, which centers around a 13-year-old boy who's been accused of murdering a classmate, and basically the whole point of it was about social media conditioning our kids, and the effect that that's having and that sort of thing. And Liam, have you watched it?
I haven't because it's one of those things where I've heard so much about it. I feel like I don't need to at this point.
No, 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 dude. You need to like freaking
I
everybody needs to see this thing.
I watched the first episode
Oh, okay.
because everyone's been talking about it,
Hmm.
and then my dad came, which is why I haven't watched the rest of it.
Right, right. Did you enjoy the first
I
episode
did.
though?
It was really
Yeah.
fascinating because it started with the cops turning up at the boy's house and
Mm,
then follows him like being taken to the station and the processing and the lawyer coming in and the first interview with the detectives.
mm.
So yeah, it's quite fascinating because you don't usually see the whole process like that when you're
Yeah.
watching crime stuff.
And of course, I'm not going to spoil a thing, but did that ending just like really impact
Mm.
you? Yeah, holy shit, that ending was just, it's, I can replay it in my head over and over again. Like it was that shocking that I can always see it. But the whole thing. Yeah, it's not often that I will watch something that I'm like, okay, this is essential viewing for every single person on the planet. But this really is. This is one of those things that needs to start conversations, and it needs to. I mean, like an MP in British Parliament actually proposed that it get mandatorily shown in schools and in Parliament and everything. And the UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer actually backed it, and so it is going to be, mandatory screening in schools and stuff, which I think is great. Um, it's a very difficult watch at times. But yeah, so the whole thing, like every episode is filmed in one shot, um, which is mind blowing. And I've watched so many behind the scenes things, and like, one episode I think it was like the 14th take and stuff like that. One
Actually, I
episode,
didn't even notice that.
yeah, right, right.
Like I noticed it was sort of real time following, but I
Yeah.
actually didn't notice that it was one take.
Yeah, and like the movie Mads, this was genuine as well. This wasn't
Mm.
like, trickery involved to make it look like one shot. Like they really did it. And there are some camera choices that just fascinated me. Like there's one where the camera is going along outside the school, sort of on ground level, like obviously handheld, and then as it moves along, all of a sudden it starts going up into the sky and it like travels all the way over to another area, comes down, and then is handheld again. And you know how they did it, like obviously put it on a drone, like, extremely skillfully. And then, yeah, I watched a behind the scenes thing where they showed them doing it, and yeah, it is just mind blowing. But yeah, like the kid who played the kid, uh, Owen Cooper, it was his first thing he's ever been in. Like yeah, and to watch this, like the third episode has him and a child psychologist talking, like pretty much the entire episode is just these two talking. And yet it's one of the most riveting things I've ever seen. And it is the episode that so many people are saying is just the peak of this show. And yeah, you just watch this kid's performance. It's just like, man, this guy's got a career ahead of him. Yeah, so no, I was really happy to watch it. I actually watched it a couple of times because Kylie, my wife, she wanted to watch it as well, and so I did watch it again. And yeah, like I said, it's difficult to watch, but yeah, everything about it was just perfection. So yeah, I was very happy that I watched that, and everyone else needs to watch it. And especially if you're a parent, I should add as well, like because that is one thing, like being that we're relatively new parents, this thing really opened our eyes to how we should raise our kids, and that's not something that a lot of shows or movies or whatever can do successfully. But yeah, we had a lot of discussions about like how we're going to handle things down the track, as far as social media and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, there you go. The end.
That is like the
Mic
one thing
drop.
I've heard about the show is it's kind of like it's not about who done it, it's more of a why did they
Yeah,
do it.
exactly, exactly. Yeah, it is all about the way that social media and the patriarchy and misogyny and all of these things come into play uh to shape the tiny minds of our chillins. So yeah, no, very, very well done. It was, yeah, and there is another season I think being planned. So yeah, I'll be interested to see where they go with that. So yeah. All right. What else you got, Frankie?
Well, it feels like a million years ago now, but I did
That's when you were
go
born.
I did go see Snow White at the cinema because I didn't talk about this last time, did I? Did I?
I don't know.
I just feel like I've had this conversation before, but I don't know if that was just talking
There's probably going to be people
in
who are
general.
listening to us for the first time, so fire away.
So I watched the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, Hunger Games movie last year,
Oh,
which
yeah.
Rachel Zegler's in, and I really liked it, and I really liked her voice, and so I was looking forward to Snow White because, of course, it was done by then, but just has been so delayed.
Mm,
And so I ignored everybody online because, of
mm,
course, it's a Disney movie with two controversial stars now. It was kind of nice in a way that everyone was sort of leaving Rachel Zegler alone this time
mm.
because she's not the most terrible person in that movie to social media people now.
Mm,
So yes, but Gal Gadot,
hmm.
as you
Yes.
said, um, can't sing, so I don't know why she was cast in this with a lot of
She's
singers.
no Zac Efron.
No, see, he could have done a better
Evil
evil
Queen.
queen.
Mm.
Hmm. Yeah,
I'd watch that. I'd have gone to see it
I
if that
would
was the
too.
case.
I I would have, the kids, you stay at home. I'm going to see this thing. This sounds fascinating.
I don't think she's as truly terrible as people are saying because they hate her,
Mm,
but it definitely stands out because other people are singers,
hmm.
and she obviously was cast for her looks
Mm.
to play that part.
Right, right.
Um, but yeah, I thought this movie was fun.
Hmm.
I didn't hate the CG dwarfs.
Hmm.
And I know people are complaining about them doing that, but blame Peter
Peter
Dinklage.
Dinklage.
I have his
Mm.
name up here because I've still got Tiptoes on screen and he's in that.
The
Yes,
Um,
yeah.
Dingles.
because he complained, and so they decided not to hire real life actors.
Ah, they could have
So,
used Gary Oldman.
yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
And they did have romance in it. I thought they wouldn't have romance because there was the big thing about them changing it and whatever,
Hmm.
and no prince and all of that. So I thought they took it out, but they didn't. He's not a prince. And so
Right.
there was some nice banter between them
Hmm.
because, you know, they don't initially get on. So there's that whole thing. And
Mm.
yeah, I just thought it was really fun and it made
Yeah,
me
cool.
happy.
Excellent.
So
Yeah, no, I'm still looking forward to seeing it one of these days. I thought the trailer just wowed me. I thought it looked amazing visually, and that was more than enough to get me to want to watch it. I mean, I'll watch a movie if it looks pretty. Yeah. So yeah, I'd give it a look. Mhm. All right. What else have you been watching, Mr. Liam?
Okay, so I saw again at the cinema Death of a Unicorn.
I have heard not so great things about that one.
It's it's not terrible.
Mm,
Paul Rudd is one of those actors that I will watch in anything.
mm,
Um, and I know he is entirely the age to be playing like a father of a teenage daughter, but I still struggle to see him in that position.
I did when I watched the trailer and realized because Jenna Ortega is his daughter, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
this just doesn't feel right.
mm.
Yeah, exactly.
They're the same
And it's
age.
yeah, it's a slightly different character to what I'm used to seeing Paul Rudd play. But like the basic synopsis is he is going to meet some like work people and he's taking his daughter with him because they're looking to basically replace someone on the board and they want like a family man. So if he takes the daughter, he looks like a family man. And on the way, they run over a unicorn and have to figure out what to do with the body. Um, so it's okay. Will Poulter is incredible in it. He kind of steals the trailer a bit with some of his lines, and the rest of the movie is just him being absolutely fantastic in just playing this very like spoiled rich kid.
Mm.
Um, and he does that way too good. Eerily good.
Mm.
It tries to kind of blend, I think, like horror with comedy. Um, and that's always risky. Uh, and I would say it does the comedy better than it does the horror. But
Right.
there is something nice about you don't tend to see unicorns portrayed in a horror context.
No, that
So
is
Well,
true. Well,
well,
yeah, except
yeah,
Carousel.
take it away.
Have you seen Carousel, Liam?
I have not, no.
It was a trilogy,
Mm.
but the first one is perhaps the best one.
And this is Karis
Um,
Hell, of course. Like,
yeah.
Yes,
yeah,
of course.
yeah.
It's a indie filmmaker, Steve Rosinski, and he does lots of films. He also does like his Meowie series of a Meowie Christmas and Halloween and stuff, where he films like his cat and his rat are in the films. But yeah, so Karis Hell is people at a party and a unicorn escapes from a merry-go-round and um, kills people. I think it's after revenge for
Mm.
just gets sick of like
It's just,
having kids sit on it all day and
yeah.
everything.
Or he's sick of Michael Corleone sitting on him all day.
And then the sequels bring in more to the story, more characters and stuff. But yes,
Mm.
that is a killer unicorn.
Oh,
Okay,
yes.
well that's
A lot
worth
of
watching.
Oh, it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
the director of these films, yeah, he's just such a cool guy. He's just this massive nerd. Like he's super into comic. He's a cosplayer as well. I think he actually kind of does like charity events and stuff in character as various comic book characters and stuff. Like he's a really cool guy. So yeah, we're big fans
yeah.
of
And
Steve.
they're on Tubi, so
Hmm.
um hopefully they
Mm.
are for you as well.
Yeah.
So you can check them out.
Hmm.
Yeah, that sounds interesting. Because I think the only other time I've seen it is I think there's a very short clip in Cabin in the Woods, I think, when
I haven't
have you
seen
both
that
seen
for
Cabin in the
years.
Woods?
Oh
Long
yeah,
time
yeah.
ago.
And yes, you're right.
Once
You're right.
everything kind of goes mad, I think there's
Yeah,
just one very short
there
unicorn bit.
is. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Um,
Death of a Unicorn,
mhm.
it was fine.
And just to, because it popped into my head earlier, just to go back to Zac Efron, I haven't seen
All right.
Firestarter, but I remember seeing the trailers for it and being like, Zac Efron is a dad? He's
Yeah.
not old enough to play a dad. And I was
No, of
like,
He
course
is
oh,
not.
he
not.
is.
He's
That
19.
movie, or that movie was I'd read the book kind of recently before it because I'm currently instead of like watching movies now, I've started reading way more and I'm working my way through all of Stephen King's books.
Hmm.
So I read Firestarter and then decided to watch the Zac Efron movie and yeah, it's not great. It's really and that's coming from someone that loves Zac Efron. I mean, he's
Mm.
fantastic in it, obviously, but
Mm.
the rest of the movie is difficult.
Mm. Oh, fair enough. Well, I had a night recently, on the 12th, apparently. I don't know what triggered it in my brain, but I suddenly needed to watch GoldenEye, the James Bond film, of course. And yeah, I don't know. I was absolutely compelled to the point where like I've got it on Blu-ray, but we don't have the PlayStation set up in the bedroom yet or anything, so I had nothing to play it on, and I went looking around to see if it was streaming anywhere. It was streaming on Stan, but we didn't have that app set up on the TV, which in hindsight, it actually would have been just a really easy process to do, but I didn't really know how to do it because this house comes with TVs and I don't know how to operate them. You kids and your fangled technology. And so, yeah, I went on Amazon. I was like, you know what? I'm laying down $5 to watch this film. And I did. And I still love that film so goddamn much, Frankie. I cannot wait for you to finally watch the James Bond film so you can absorb the
Have
greatness that
seen
is
two of
GoldenEye.
them.
You have seen two, but you haven't seen GoldenEye.
No.
It to me, before Casino Royale came along, as in the Daniel Craig recent one, like that was it was the quintessential Bond film, and I mean everything about it, like in terms of what it did for pop culture, the Nintendo 64 game where we could invite three friends around and have, a night of foreplay. Like that was just one of the most incredible things ever. But like, yeah, the film itself is just it was the perfect balance of kind of like a little bit campy, not too much, but it also kind of had some cool seriousness to it and everything. It was Pierce Brosnan's first outing as the character, so I remember at the time because I was working in a cinema at the time, and like, oh my freaking God, this movie was massive, and everybody was just like, "Yep, Pierce Brosnan is the greatest James Bond. He's going to play the character forever." And yeah, I will never not love that film. Liam, I'm going to assume that you've seen it.
Yes, yeah. A few years ago, I did like the sort of James Bond project where I had the box
Hmm.
set and I just worked my way through, starting with that first kind of Casino Royale with Woody Allen in it,
Yep.
and then going like all the way through.
Hmm.
Yeah, I also have fond memories of foreplay with the N64 GoldenEye
Oh, it was
game.
such a
That's
great game.
so good. Yeah, you always wanted to pick Odd Job
Yeah,
because
of
he was
course.
smaller, so harder to hit, of course.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those like classic sort of it's everything a James Bond movie should be. Like you've
Yes.
got the gadgets, you've got the girls, you've got the vehicles, like
Hmm.
it's fantastic.
Yeah, and I just thought the tone was perfect. Like I said,
Mm.
it never went too like the Roger Moore films often went a little bit too campy and stuff, and then
Yeah.
you got like the Timothy Dalton ones, which were a little bit too serious.
Yeah.
Still good films, and I actually really love Dalton as the character, but yeah, this one just had the balance perfect. I thought all of the characters in it were amazing. I thought like Sean Bean was just fantastic in this film. I loved Famke Janssen as Xenia on a top, which that's probably like the most campy that the film got is having a character named Xenia on a top. But even like her character was just, she's kind of a minor character, but she's so psychotic. I mean, this is a chick that like goes into a facility, mows everyone down with a machine gun, and like looks like she's having an orgasm over it. It's just like, wow, that's kind of dark. But anyway, yeah. So no, and Alan Cumming, of course, yeah, he was great in it. Like, just everyone was so cool. Yeah. Also loved having Judi Dench as M. Like this is the first time that we had a female M um, who's basically James Bond's boss. So yeah, no, I was very, very happy that I spent $5 to watch that when I could have easily installed an app. But yeah, I'm fine with it.
Look,
So
what are your thoughts on Her Majesty's Secret Service?
I
Because
love that film.
yeah, I feel like it's underrated. I don't know if
Yes.
that's just me. Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, I thought Lazenby was a really cool James Bond. I love that line at the start. Something. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but
There is like a
where
comment about
he
how he looks different or something.
Will looks at the camera and he says something about
Yeah.
the other guy, whatever. I
Yeah,
just thought
exactly.
that was so
Yeah.
tongue in cheek, but it worked. That was
But
the
it's
one
got like a
with,
seriousness to it as well that I feel like they didn't
yeah,
really pick up on again until like your Daniel Craig kind of
mm,
era.
yeah, and that was the one that had Diana Rigg in it, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, she was so great in that film. Yeah, no, I remember watching it. I sort of went into it because I didn't start watching James Bond films in the cinema until I think it was Octopussy in the 80s. And then I'd pretty much seen I think I've seen every one since then in a theater, but that one I caught later on, and I sort of went into it thinking to myself, "Oh, I wonder if this is going to be any good because this guy was only in it one time and stuff."
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember getting to the end of it, and even the song, "All the Time in the World" is such a fantastic Bond theme. Like, yeah, I love that film. I really do. So...
So good. So Frankie, when are you gonna get around to all of the Bond films?
when
I
they
don't
put Al
know.
Pacino in one of
I
them.
Yeah. When AI
I
does that,
thought.
where you can just swap people out.
Hoo-ha! My name's Bond. James Bond.
Now I'm just like, has Al Pacino ever done a spy film? Because I want to see that.
I
I
can't think of
don't.
any off the top of
No,
my
I
head.
don't think he has.
Yeah. But anyway,
Mm.
and yeah, that. Oh, well, up until when we get to talk about our high school musical film, that's all I've watched. Uh, so
I think
take it
that's
away, guys.
uh
Hmm?
I have some other ones. I don't know if I really have a lot to say about them. I did finally watch Night at the Museum.
Okay.
What did you think?
Hmm.
It was fun.
Hmm.
It's one of those, nothing amazing, but I was happy
Yeah.
to spend the time. I just was feeling like I was missing Ben Stiller, so I
Oh.
thought I should watch those movies. Plus, like nearly every person I look up recently seems to be in one of the Night of the Museum movies, so
Yeah.
I thought I should watch them, and it ticks off a lot of films on people's lists. And
Hmm.
it's got
I
Owen
very
Wilson.
much, yeah,
Hmm.
and Robin Williams.
Hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, he's very
Yeah.
good. So did you watch Severance?
No.
Okay, because that's Ben Stiller directing, and that is
No, I didn't know he directed that. I do know it's a show everyone goes on about and is apparently weird and a bit of a thing to figure out what's going on, and people have theories and
yes,
stuff. So I'm looking forward to
yes.
getting into that. I'm getting Apple Plus back soon to watch
Okay,
things, and that's on my list. And so is
so,
The Studio. And I
yeah.
think there might be a couple of other things.
If you haven't seen Shrinking, I would add that to your list as well.
Have not seen that.
Harrison
Hmm.
Ford and Jason Segel. Um,
Oh,
so
I
good.
have seen that in lists
Yeah,
actually because I like
but
Jason Segel, so I'm like,
it
I
is
have to
so
watch
good.
that one day.
It's that's the reason why I got a 1 week subscription to Apple TV for that reason. Watched both seasons in a week, and I was like, oh, I'm going to
Wow.
start this Severance thing. And so Ben Stiller doesn't direct every episode, but I think the majority. And I was not expecting him to have such a unique visual style in his
Hmm.
direction.
Hmm.
Okay.
It's really interesting how meticulously that show has been put together.
Hmm. Wow. I
Hmm.
can't wait to get back into TV shows one day. Yeah.
Yeah, I got Apple TV last time to watch The Instigators because Casey Affleck, Matt Damon,
Casey who?
um, Casey
Liam, do you know
Astronaut.
about that? Do you know about Casey Astronaut?
I do not know.
Oh, okay. There was an episode of this podcast where Frankie went to say something about Casey
I was
Affleck as an
talking
astronaut,
about, yeah, I was talking about
Right, okay.
and
Slingshot.
she called him
Yeah,
Casey Astronaut, and oh
fantastic.
my freaking God, that joke has
Yeah,
lived on since then. It's actually you can buy merch now. We have merch in our store of Casey Astronaut, which is like a picture of an astronaut with Casey Affleck in it with the logo
I love
Casey
that.
Astronaut. You can get shirts, mugs,
I
doormats, whatever you
almost,
want.
I almost wore my Casey Astronaut shirt today.
Would have been appropriate, yeah, but
Well,
anyway.
I went Chris Pine because,
Yeah.
talking about hot guys.
Well,
So
yeah, you got Chris. I've got Lauren Lavera. That's her name. I remember it now.
Liam's ready for High School Musical.
Of
Yes.
course, happily.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I didn't even pick up on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, the very imaginatively named East High School. Wow.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. Oh, wow, you're actually in character. That's cool. Um,
I mean, cool might not be the right word, but yeah.
Yeah. No,
I think
hey,
so.
you're among nerds. You're all good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Frankie. I think I interrupted you. Did I interrupt you, or had you
No,
finished?
I was just on Night at the Museum. I didn't really
Oh
have
yeah,
anything to say specifically,
yeah.
except
It was it
it was
was it
fun.
was good. Yeah.
Hmm.
Liam, you got
Yes,
anything
so one
else?
last one that I've got, which
Hmm.
is I saw Drop at the cinema.
Hmm.
I don't even know what that is. I'm so out of touch. Why am I doing a movie podcast? I've not heard of Drop. What is
All
Drop?
right,
It just came
so
out, and I think I sent
Oh.
you the trailer once, so you might have seen the trailer for it and
I
just
might
don't
have,
remember the
or
title.
I was so busy I didn't get to watch it because that sometimes happens, and I'm very
Because
sorry
it's by
about
the
that.
guy that did Happy Death Day.
Oh,
This
yes,
is the one?
yeah, Christopher
Yes.
Landon. Yeah,
Yes.
right, right, right,
it
right.
is. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm back on board now. Here I am.
So I
Hello.
think like the elevator pitch for it is basically woman on a first date with a guy that she met on a dating app, in a restaurant, and she gets a message airdropped to her, which is basically, "We're in your house with your kid. You have to kill your date."
Right. I know I did not watch the trailer. I do remember hearing about this film, and you probably did send me the trailer. I have actually not watched the trailer, so yeah, I do apologize about that. Wow, that sounds incredibly good. Was it
It's
incredibly good?
so it I liked it because it was a movie that you don't really see get made these days, and it
Mm.
felt very 90s. Like really
Ooh.
interesting concept with a cast of no one in it that I
Mm.
recognized. Um, I feel like in the last 20 years or so, kids in movies and TV shows have got really good at acting. Whereas
Oh yeah.
there used to be a trope that like if you have a kid, they're not going to
Hmm.
be great.
Yeah.
This movie goes back to that 90s idea of kid acting not being great. The kid in it is so bad. Like just like utterly terrible in a way that just I liked because it made me nostalgic for those movies where the kids
Hmm.
were terrible.
Right, right.
Um, I fully enjoyed the entire setup, the mystery of it. You're trying to figure out who's behind all of this. Everything up until like the final 15, 20 minutes,
Mm.
really enjoyable. And then once you kind of figure out what's going on, the last little bit is just it doesn't quite stick the landing. That's what I'll
Oh,
say.
okay. That's a shame.
But
Mm.
it's fun enough getting to that point
Yeah.
that I'm okay with that. Like the
Hmm.
journey to get there was more enjoyable than the destination itself.
Right, right, right. I'm straight away thinking of villains. Uh,
Have you
yeah.
seen Villains, Liam?
I have not, no.
Oh, that was a movie that
Yeah, so
Frankie and
good.
I watched.
Yeah, Bill Skarsgård and Micah Monroe.
Mm,
So I was looking
Okay.
at the filmography of one of them, and then when I saw they'd done a film with the other, I was like, okay, I'm watching this right now.
mm,
And
Yeah.
it's they're two like small-time criminals, and their car breaks down when I think they're on the run from doing something,
hmm.
and so they go to this nearby house to steal the car or something, and
To use the phone, wasn't it?
was it use the phone? I
Yeah,
don't
to
know.
get someone to come and
Anyway,
fix their
get
car.
in the house and yeah, they pick the wrong house to break into.
Mm.
So
Interesting.
interesting things happen, but yeah, it has an ending that
We choose to
is
ignore.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
That's fair.
because the ending honestly is you just don't want that ending. And so yeah, I always just completely ignore the ending because the rest of the film is like five-star material, and then you get to that ending and it's just like, you bastards, why did you do that? And so yeah.
But
No,
yeah,
we
it's really fun. It's kind of funny, it's kind of cute with like the
mm,
Yeah.
romance between the two of them, and then weird and
mm,
kind of horror because a couple that live in the house, which is Kira Sedgwick and another guy whose name I can't remember, but
who's
yeah, they were
awesome.
really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Micah
Yeah.
Monroe is one of those that I would happily watch. So that
Mm.
alone has kind of sold me on it.
Mm.
Mm.
Oh, she's so fantastic in that film. I just noticed that Drop is available to rent or buy on YouTube. So
Really?
yes,
Because it's just come out at the cinema.
according to Letterboxd, it says where to watch YouTube, AU, rent or buy. So I'm
Oh,
gonna have to
maybe it's one
get
of
onto
those
that.
same time as the cinemas, so you've got to pay
Yeah.
like $20 to rent it.
Oh, well, that's kind of lessened my enthusiasm, but
I did just look up the guy in it. His name sounded familiar, Brandon Sklenar,
yeah,
and he was in It Ends With Us,
he was.
which I watched, and he was a weird character, but he was kind of
Mm.
cool. So yes, I do
Yeah,
know him
I've
slightly.
not heard of anyone in it, and I'm looking at the two
Yeah.
leads. I've not seen anything that they've done.
Which you don't really get in movies these days. There's always like
Mm,
someone in it.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, she
Uh,
was in Your Monster,
she
but
was.
I don't remember who she was in that.
I don't
She
think she
was
was.
she was
No, I'm
Jackie
looking in the can
Dennon.
right now, and she's.
Ugh, yeah.
It's a visual gag. Oh, wow. Everyone who's listening to the audio version of the podcast is not going to understand that. Yeah, but anyway. Yeah, I have a can of Monster. Anyway, yeah, cool. Uh, yeah, I got nothing else to add to this. So, is that it or
Yeah, we
Oh,
are
wow.
done with recently watched.
Cool. Well, before, did you, because I actually wrote down some movie news things. Like, did you want to get
Oh
into
yeah, I forgot about
movie
that.
news? Yeah, we should
Yeah,
probably should have led with that, but
yeah, that's what we usually do.
we usually do
I
that.
had no news, so I didn't even think about that.
Well, I do. I
All
wrote
right, what's the movie
some
news?
things down. All right. So the first thing off the bat that I've got here was the rather shock announcement that Saw 11 has been cancelled.
Mm.
Hmm.
Which I was disappointed personally because that is a franchise that, look, the first three, well, the first one I thought was phenomenal. The second one I thought was really good. Even the third one I thought, yeah, like had some really good moments. After that, it outstayed its welcome, in my opinion. I just, after every single freaking movie that where the plot just became so convoluted. I couldn't understand what the hell was going on. It was just the same thing over and over again. I haven't even seen Spiral, the one with Chris Rock and
Yeah, don't.
what's his name? Samuel L. Jackson. Um, and so I reluctantly went into Saw 10 for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe had a pass to it or something, but went and saw it and freaking loved it. Like that was the biggest surprise for me that year, I think. I thought it was such a quality film. Did you see it, Liam?
No, it's the only Saw film I haven't seen yet, and I need to
Dude,
rectify that.
it's really good. And yeah, I was absolutely shocked. I walked out of that film, I was like, oh my God, like I want to own that on Blu-ray. I want to watch it again and again, you know? And so when, of course, the inevitable announcement of Saw 11, I was like, okay, like I'm on board now, I'll give it a shot. And yeah, it's been cancelled. And I wrote that down weeks ago, so I don't know if there's been any developments on that. Maybe
Now,
it's
wasn't
not
it
news, but
something weird? Like I heard it was because the studio executives couldn't agree on something,
maybe I don't
and that's
know.
what
But
was holding it up.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, either way, I just thought that was quite a shock. So I don't know what will happen with that franchise now, but yeah, that one was a yeah, shock announcement. But speaking of sequels, one that has got me interested is there's been a sequel announcement for Cloverfield, which,
Oh.
as Frankie knows, that film is quite possibly number 11 in my top 10 favorite movies of all time. Oh my God, the love I have for that film. Liam, you've seen Cloverfield?
I saw it at the cinema when it first came
Yes.
out,
Oh
and it
yeah,
was
yeah.
so good. It was just one of those
Oh
experiences
yes.
that was
All right.
like, this
You
is. I
you
remember
can
like a
love
lot of people
Sydney
being like,
Sweeney
"Oh,
all you want. I love you now.
I'm getting motion sickness watching it," and I was like, "What are you talking about? This is fantastic."
Yeah, 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 yeah. To me, the thing I love about that film was, to me, it's a love story. It's a romance film.
Yeah,
Because, yeah, sure, you've got the spectacle of the monster attack and all that sort of shit, but the story is about this guy who never professed his love for this girl. And when the shit's going down, like she's stuck on the other side of town, pinned in, like brutally pinned in her apartment, and he decides to go and rescue her, and everything. And like, I mean, it's a freaking love story, and so many people don't recognize that. And yeah, but like the way the film was put together and everything, I'm a big fan of found footage films if there's a reason
yeah,
why the camera is there.
yeah,
You get so many found footage films, and it's like, why would someone be filming this? And it takes you out of the film because you're like, well, no, that doesn't work. But yeah, of course you're going to be filming something like that.
yeah.
Um, and I always loved the idea. At the time, I remember they were talking about doing a sequel. There's a moment where the main character's brother, I can't remember their names, he's on the Brooklyn Bridge and he turns around and films somebody else who's filming him. And
Yeah,
there were rumors at the time that there was going to be a sequel from that person's perspective, and I kind of thought that would be so clever, if they sort of tied the two films in like that. But yeah, so there was an announcement that we're getting a sequel because there have been, of course, like 10 Cloverfield Lane and the Cloverfield Paradox, which um were just really loosely linked to that first one, but
Yeah.
I've
apparently
seen what's the one with is
John
it John
Goodman,
Goodman?
10
Yeah,
Yes,
Cloverfield
10
I
Lane.
think.
Cloverfield.
I have
Yeah.
seen that.
Yeah, yeah. That was
I
a great
didn't
film.
realize it connected in, so I still haven't
Yeah,
seen
yeah.
Yeah,
Cloverfield.
it kind
It's
of
extremely
works
loose.
Yeah,
without
just
the
the
Cloverfield
end.
stuff.
Mm.
Yeah.
And I didn't like the Cloverfield paradox. Yeah, I don't even remember it if I'm being honest, but I just thought it was kind of boring. So yeah, I'm really really psyched about that one. Actually, God, everything is sequel news because of course we got a teaser trailer for Happy Gilmore 2. Which I know, Frankie, we had a conversation at the time about it, but yeah, it's rocking my world that like 30 years later, like this sequel is coming out, and I'm excited because yeah, I think the first Happy Gilmore is one of the really great Adam Sandler films. It is up there with The Wedding Singer and a few others that where he just wasn't completely over the top stupid and annoying. Did you like Happy Gilmore, Liam? Are you a fan?
I don't think I've seen it. I know, and I don't know how I've missed it.
Wow. Wow, there
I
you
haven't
go.
seen like a lot
Join
of
the club.
Adam
Yeah,
Sandler.
fair enough.
Yeah,
It's a really good film. It's so much fun. It was a bit over the top silly in some places, but not too bad. It wasn't like
yeah.
yeah, it was tolerable. But no, it had some really great characters and everything. And it had some fantastic one-liners and stuff. Like it's a really quotable film. And yeah, I'm really super well, I was really super excited about this sequel coming out, and like the teaser trailer looked great. And then I found out it's going to Netflix. And I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, that is actually a surprise to me because the first film was a massive hit. Like, again, I was working in a cinema at the time, and I remember like Subway, which features prominently in the film, they had like a cross promotion going on and everything. Like, it was huge at the time, and so I really thought this one would get a theatrical release, but no, it is
Times have
going to Netflix.
changed.
Times have
Yeah.
changed, yeah. So yeah, I thought that was interesting.
Well, I feel
Um,
like Netflix have been pumping out so many Adam Sandler films that it's nice that they're now doing one that people actually seem excited about.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like,
So
yeah,
I still have to watch Spaceman because that sounds interesting.
yeah, I haven't seen that one yet either. Have you seen that one, Liam?
Nope.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
I haven't even heard of it, quite honestly.
Oh, okay.
It's been talked about as being kind of in the vein of more sort of art house or like
Hmm.
Tarkovsky films and rather than a really kind of mainstream film. So it got me really curious. It's a guy that goes up into space and I think he just has, there's like a gecko or something that he talks to that's Paul Dano's voice. And I think it's just like a
Interesting.
one-man film sort of thing.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, but I haven't
Hmm.
got to it yet. So we'll see.
Yeah. And then the last one that I had, of course, there was that that amazing video that went absolutely viral where they released the cast of Avengers Doomsday by scrolling along like with the names on the backs of chairs, then leading to Robert Downey Jr. And yeah, my freaking God. Is that the biggest cast in the history of cinema or what? Because they're bringing together like freaking like all the old X-Men, well, not all, a bunch of the old X-Men characters and everything. Like, yeah, just everything's coming together in this film, and I'm excited because I mean, obviously, the Infinity Saga was just. I thought it was amazing. Even though I'm a DC fan, I always thought like, you know, DC, as you kind of said before, Liam, you never know what you're going to get because they didn't
Yeah.
have a course charted. They were just kind of like, here's this film, here's this film, here's a random character you've never heard of, blah, blah, blah. Whereas Marvel, obviously, like, they were like, okay, in 20 films time, we're going to be doing this,
Yeah.
like everything was meticulously planned. And that's a good thing, and that's what I think James Gunn and Peter Safran are going to bring to DC now. I think they're going to actually put this thing on course and make something amazing. And so, yeah, like I'm looking at this cast and I'm just thinking, man, this is going back to, the really good, exciting Marvel days. Because I mean, like now, things are kind of stale. Like, I mean, I can't even remember what the last Marvel film that oh, was it Deadpool,
It was
Wolverine, or
Brave New World.
Brave New World. There you go. See,
Yeah.
yeah, I haven't even seen that. I don't have a lot of enthusiasm, and I should, because like the previous Captain America films have been absolutely fantastic. Whereas now I'm just kind of like, yeah, whatever. I'll catch it one day if I've got nothing else to do. So yeah, but I don't know. I got kind of pumped about this cast listing. Yeah.
When's
Um,
this movie out? Like 2 or 3 years' time?
Yeah, probably. I have no idea. Yeah,
It's just
it'll
really funny seeing all these announcements for Marvel things, and it's like,
mm,
yeah, this is happening 3 years from now. And it's like,
yeah.
well, I don't need to know about it now.
But I
Well,
think they're aware that people are starting to kind of, lose interest in Marvel. So I think they're gonna, yeah, do whatever they can to sort of reinvigorate the excitement. Yeah. So yeah,
well,
no, I'm looking
I'm
forward to that.
I'm really curious about it. I feel like there's some notable names that were missing from that
Hmm.
announcement,
Hmm.
which I'm okay if they want to hold back some things for surprises, but I'm a little bit sort of
What
questionable
what
of
were
these
some of the
people just not in
names
it.
you're referring
I like
to?
Tom Holland, for example.
Hmm. Yep.
That because I mean, for me, if you're gonna cast Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom,
Mm.
the only scene I care about seeing is Tom Holland coming face to face with that.
Sure. Yep. Yep.
Like just to
Mm.
try and explain kind of what's going on there.
Yeah.
Um, I'm sure there was some other names that are escaping me
Yeah.
at the moment. Well, kind of like Haley Steinfeld, right? I would love
Mm.
to see like some of the TV stuff kind of dragged
Mm.
into the Avengers world.
Oh yeah, she was so great.
Like Charlie
Um.
Cox, pretty sure his name wasn't
Mm.
on there. So
Mm.
there's
Yeah.
there's a
Yeah.
few that I'm kind of like. The other thing is, like I said, with like the previous ones, it was all kind of charted out and it was
Hmm.
all building to something, and each
Mm.
film added.
Hmm.
This one, it feels like it doesn't have that build up,
Mm.
and you're bringing in like the 90s kind of or 2000s like X-Men
Hmm.
actors again.
Yep.
That film has a tough job, I think, to kind of explain why all
Mm.
of these are merging into one movie
Multiverse.
that's yeah,
That's
that's
the
then going to
go-to
set
answer
up
for everything
the
like that.
because that movie has to kind of do what Infinity War did as well, right? Where it's then setting up Secret Invasion, I think is
Yeah.
coming afterwards,
Hmm.
or Secret Wars, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So it's like
Secret
I
Invasion
think it's
Wars.
yeah, it's a tough job for that one movie to like, right, we need to establish Doctor Doom,
Mm.
establish why it's RDJ as Doctor Doom,
Yeah.
bring in the X-Men,
Mm.
then explain all of the like the Avengers being disbanded, so what are the new Avengers and them getting together and how that's all happening
Mm.
all in one movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I'm excited because I hope they do pull it off,
I hope
but
so
it's
too.
a
Yeah.
tall order.
Because the thing that really blows my mind is Robert Downey Jr. playing Doctor Doom after he
Yeah,
was basically the glue that held the MCU together as Tony Stark,
yeah,
and now he's playing a completely different character, and it's sort of like, how is that gonna work? I don't understand. Like when they made that
yeah,
announcement, I was really shocked. I was like, what are you doing? Like it's the same
yeah.
universe. Like it just
Like I want there
messes
to
with
be
my
a
head.
really good reason why they've done
Hmm.
it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I'm confident that they will. Um, but speaking of, there's actually one other thing that I hadn't written down. Just a couple of days ago, there was a new featurette that came out about Superman, which is of course coming out very soon, where they interviewed James Gunn and showed a whole bunch of new footage and everything. There was also like an extended teaser where you see like the whole scene of Crypto dragging him to the Fortress of Solitude and the robots sort of assisting him to regain his powers and stuff like that. Have you been following much of that, Mr. Liam?
Yes,
Cool.
I'm curious with James Gunn kind of taking over.
Mm.
Because I've kind of enjoyed James Gunn's superhero stuff ever since he did Super
Hmm.
with Rainn Wilson.
Hmm.
That was such a great little
It's
movie.
brilliant, isn't it?
Um,
Yeah.
but
Shut up,
Again,
crime.
right? It's kind of like there is that thing at the moment of superhero fatigue, and it
Mm,
just feels like we're at the tail end of the kind of, I think, the hyper focus on superhero movies, which
mm,
seems to be like an interesting time to try and essentially launch a whole new
mm.
universe.
Yeah.
The my only hesitation with it is that they want to pull in like other media, like they want to do
Hmm.
comic books and video games and stuff. And I think
Hmm.
with Marvel, one of the big problems is they've diluted it a bit with the TV shows
Mm.
because some of those TV shows are tedious
Oh, I've
at
not even
best.
seen
I
all of them.
cannot be anti-DC TV shows though, because
Mm.
the next one coming is a Booster Gold show. So
Frankie
That's
loves
fair.
I
that
want to see
character.
that. I
And
don't even
Yeah.
know him that well, but I just,
yeah.
yeah.
And I
It's,
am a Green Lantern obsessive, so which
oh, yeah,
you
Carl
can't really
Chandler.
there's actually hang on, there we go. Like
Yeah.
on each end of the shelf you can't see that one, but I do have two kind of different versions of the Green Lantern batteries there. Yeah, I am so excited about that show. But no, look, I think it's a kind of a genius stroke, though. Yeah, there's superhero fatigue, but they're bringing in the biggest superhero of all time, basically,
Yeah.
for another run. So I think, if they had come in with a lesser known hero or something, I don't think that would have worked as well. But yeah, I just had a conversation with a friend of mine a couple of days ago. So this dude, Rob, he used to run a comic book shop back in the 90s. Like that was where we hung out, spent so much time. And I was having a conversation with him about this new Superman film, and I said to him, look, I've got a controversial opinion. I don't think they've ever truly made a perfect Superman film. Like as great as Christopher Reeve was, I think those movies leaned into they just got a bit silly at times, like when the first one, going back through time by flying super fast around the world, silly. The second one, taking the logo off his chest and throwing it at the villains and it grows into this big plastic thing that envelops them. Come on, that is just absolutely ludicrous. So those films, I thought the tone was a little bit all over the place. As much as I loved Henry Cavill, I thought
He
those
was
films,
fantastic.
he was, but those films
He,
were a
he
bit,
he was fantastic. The films he was in weren't. That's the
they
problem.
were really good, but yeah, they were too dark and gritty, and like
Yeah.
that's not what Superman is about. Superman Returns, I thought was okay, but it tried too hard to be the Christopher Reeve films. And stuff. So yeah, look, they've to me, they've never made a perfect Superman film. I look at this one, what they're doing with it, knowing how much James Gunn, is so passionate about the source material. And I'm thinking to myself, this could be the one. And so I mentioned that to Rob and everything. And he's like, dude, I'm exactly the same way. Like, yeah, of all people, I thought he would have been like, no, no, the Christopher Reeve films are perfect. But no, we shared that same thing. So I'm really hoping that this film is going to be, we're going to walk out of the theater and fe have that feeling like we've just read a really amazing graphic novel.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've got my fingers crossed about this one, but yeah, everything I've seen so far is it's just got me so excited.
Do
So
you think that if this movie flops, that's kind of it for the James Gunn DCU universe, whatever they call
no,
it, or do you
because
think he
they've
can pull it
got
back?
no, they've I don't think it's going to flop. I'm laying this down now. I will put money on it. I don't think this film is going to flop. I think it is going to be a massive success. But they've got so much already planned out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't really see that it's gonna stop. I mean, it's already kicked off. Did you see Creature Commandos, the animated show?
No, I didn't. No.
Oh my God, it's so good. There's, yeah, I sort of went into it a little bit reluctant because I didn't really know many of the characters and stuff. And, like they've brought Rick Flag, is it Rick Flag or
Yeah.
Rick Flag Senior? Oh, no, it must be Senior because, yeah, and Weasel is in it. And that was about all I knew. And then there's all these new characters that looked really weird. And I thought, okay, let's check it out. there was one episode in particular that goes into Weasel's backstory. I was bawling my eyes out at the end of it. It was just the writing in this show is incredibly good. Um, so yeah, like, and that was the thing that's kind of launched this whole new DC universe. And yeah, I thought they did an amazing job with that. So,
Well,
yeah,
what's the John Cena show? I can't remember what his character is
Peacemaker.
called. Peacemaker, that's it.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
that tied into like is that canon or is that
It is, yeah, because of course, well, it's not canon to the new DC universe. It's canon to the DC EU because, of course,
right?
Peacemaker we saw in the Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
So
But I
it's a
thought
spin-off
James
of
Gunn
that.
said that like that was still going to be somewhat tied into what he was doing in
Oh,
some
look,
way.
maybe he did.
Maybe
Yeah,
just the
I don't
new
know.
season coming is gonna
mm,
Yeah.
relate
yeah,
to
possibly.
things.
Because yeah, that show was really, really good. I thoroughly enjoyed that one. Yeah, I am a very big James Gunn fan. If you hadn't already noticed, I have every one of his films. I have his book that he wrote, The Toy Collector. I have the game Chainsaw Lollipop because he wrote the script for that. That's how deep my
That
Gunn
is deep.
fandom goes. Yeah, he is kind of like my Zac Efron in a way.
Okay, yeah, that's fair enough. I can respect that.
I lean more towards directors than I do actors. Like I'm obsessed with so many directors. Yeah, but yeah, that's just me. Yeah. So that's all I had for movie news. Did anyone have anything to contribute?
I just it's not news, but it's something upcoming that
Mm,
I was just going to mention
yeah.
about my wonderful timing of discovering Al Pacino because he's in a new film with Dan Stevens coming out just after my birthday. So
Oh,
I get to go see that at the cinema.
well,
As
there
a,
you go.
it's a movie that probably lots of people will hate because it's
Which
an
movie is it?
exorcism movie. It's called The Ritual,
Oh, okay, right. Mm.
and it's two priests that don't get along that have to are forced to perform a risky exorcism.
So,
But
wow, this could lean into a whole new genre of film, the buddy priest movie. We've got the buddy cop genre of films. Now we could do buddy priest films.
I mean, The
Wow.
Exorcist kind of had an element of that.
It
They were sort of
did,
buddies,
yeah.
weren't they? Yeah.
Well, kind of. I mean, Father Merrin did he hadn't actually met Karras before.
No,
Wasn't that the
but
first
you
time they'd
could
met?
believe that they were like they had a buddy element to them.
Well, yeah,
I thought.
that's true. Yes, I will nod and say yes.
Well, maybe this film can do well, and then we can have a crossover with the Pope's
Mm.
Exorcist. And
Yes.
Well,
There's going to be a whole bunch of people hating on the film though before they've even
I
seen it
know,
because
yeah,
we've already seen it.
everyone hates every exorcism movie coming out now.
Hmm.
Even the
but Dan
Pope's Exorcist, even
Stevens,
though they came in and went, "Oh, actually, it was fun," but everyone
Mm.
hated it before it was coming out.
Yeah.
yeah, but Dan Stevens doesn't normally make bad choices, right? Like he tends to be pretty
Hmm.
consistent.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So
he
that's
makes
like,
lots of weird choices, like in a
Mm.
good
yeah,
way.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
he
exactly.
goes for some really like. Did you see Cuckoo last year?
No, I didn't. I need to see
So
that.
that's definitely a weird film. It's kind of you're either on its vibe or not because
Yeah.
the plot is a bit weird and like in a not so good way. And I don't know when you find out what's going on, I'm not sure how into that I am, but the everything else about the movie is so good that I just can't help but really enjoy it. And Dan Stevens is has a German accent, so that's fun.
Of course.
I did watch a movie with him that's a German film, so he's actually speaking German, and it's one of those he's like a robot basically, and this woman works at the company making these like companion I don't know what term they use, but we'll go with robot. And so she's got him in her house to like test him out. So he's been configured to what she's into and everything. And so it's just like a little kind of rom-com thing, but it
Mm.
was pretty cute. But yeah, because I mean, if you're gonna like order a companion, then looking like Dan Stevens is a good way to go.
Mm.
If you can't get Zac Efron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Sydney Sweeney.
Yeah.
I would order that one just so I could set it on fire. And yeah, wow, that was dark. No. Um
You're
anyway.
gonna be on like watch lists for threatening.
If Sydney ever listens to one of these things, yeah, she's probably not going to like me very much, but I'm okay with that, strangely enough.
So
Yeah.
if she wants to take my number, I'll handle all of her
Yes,
complaints for
please.
you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. All right. Well, what do you say we take this opportunity to wrap up episode one
Yes.
or part one?
As I thought it would be like quite a long discussion.
Oh yes,
And
that's
yeah,
been like
we
2 hours.
definitely
Yeah.
can't put this into one episode.
No, no, we can't because that's going to be yeah, like at least 4 hours. So, all
So
right.
yes, have
So,
to wait a little bit longer to hear Dan talk about High School Musical, but
yes,
you won't
the
have to
next
wait another 2 weeks.
no, no, the next part will
We'll
be out
just
in 10 minutes, so don't you worry. Yeah, or give or take. I don't know. All right. Well, yeah, we're gonna go. We're gonna give like refresh ourselves, get into character. Well, one of us is already in character. And we're gonna prepare our voices because we are going to actually sing the entire next episode. Is that right, guys? So we're doing that, are we?
you can do that.
Yep.
Yeah, you can
Oh,
definitely do
really?
that.
You really?
No, you can, but you shouldn't.
You should know what I'm like by now. You know, if you say something like that, then I'm going to sing the entire next episode. Yeah. Um, all right. We're gone. For those of you who don't want to listen to the next part, I don't know why, but anyway, stay safe. Watch lots of movies. Bye for now. For everyone else, we'll see you shortly.